going to be sharing with you the trades that I took, and more specifically, I'm going to be discussing a trade that I took that beats my personal best, P&L wise, as well as trade idea wise by 3x. For those that know, I'm sure you can do the math. And this trade recap will be a little bit differently for full transparency. I have sent over screenshots as well as live screenshots and live screen of my trade and my P&L. For obvious reasons, because of the magnitude of this trade, this is something I will not be sharing P&L wise on a public forum. You're going to have to understand. All entries will be shown, and the trade will be discussed. And I will be sharing this behind the closed doors of my mentoring members on Sunday morning when I do my mentoring live class. I'm going to be showing all screenshots and everything else, and probably be discussing this trade in great detail. This is something that I've been waiting for a setup for a long time, and started noticing a few things on the charts. So let's dive into the charts here and let's start discussing this trade. So give me one quick sec. You're going to have to excuse me. I am covered in sawdust. I just chainsawed down a massive tree. Okay, so now we are into the charts. You can see it was an absolutely monstrous day to the downside. I'm going to get zoomed in. Let's actually discuss Qs here first. So Qs was a trade that we all took. And this was at the open. The idea was to take it short on a pop into the previous close, which we did. Beautiful, beautiful trade. I locked in $2,811 on this trade. Members crushed it on this. I asked them, everybody took it, everybody did well. And then the second trade, which was the trade idea on SPY, my exact words, and this is what kind of bothers me about this situation, if I can be candid with you guys. I know a lot of members and a lot of non-members watch these trade recaps, but specifically speaking with the members, my exact words were, before I entered, I'm going to enter this. I advise not doing that. Now, I don't have a lot of time to explain. Okay. Now, number one, before I pull the trigger. So the advice was given, don't take this trade along with me. They did it anyways, and they couldn't handle the heat, and they ended up getting squeezed out of this trade, and some members took losses. And this is what, well, just to be blunt, it pisses me off, because people are paying me to take my advice and take my coaching, but yet they don't listen. All they want to do is make money. And it's one of the reasons why I can't share this trade with you, like P&L wise. Yeah, it's just a shame that people don't listen, and then they don't realize. And for members that know me or should know me by this point, everything I say for a reason. I've said that a million fucking times in the room and on screen share, but yet some people refuse to listen. And the problem with that is I don't have time to tell you that most likely the timeline on this trade is going to be an all-day hold. When I show you the entries, you're going to see it was literally the last 5 minutes. I'm paying myself on this trade. It's a full day hold. I'm not looking at it. I don't fucking care. I'm setting a stop and I'm forgetting about this. I'm setting a very wide, hard stop and forgetting about it. Because if this comes in, if I think I'm seeing what I am seeing, and I discussed it on screen share that there is a massive long trap going on, that's what happened. And it all fucking sold off. Nothing but institutional money exiting this market. And there is a Fed speak going on, or a Fed announcement. And you can tell. See, a lot of people don't. I know this recap's going to be pretty long-winded, so bear with me here. There's a lot of thoughts to get out. I've said a million times, do not trade going into Feds. Okay, that's a pretty hard and fast rule. And then on another hand, we would all agree that the market is manipulated and the market is rigged. Okay, so that tells us that institutional money, they know what's going to happen. Okay. So what they're doing, and when you put those puzzle pieces together with the action that we saw this morning, with this looks like a long trap. It's looking like they are looking to fuck over longs, okay, retail longs. and sell it off. And that's what they did. They are already aware of what Powell and the entire Fed is going to say. They know this. They're privy to that information. And don't get it twisted. Don't think for a second that they don't. So they know this. When you put all those puzzle pieces together and you take a trade based on speculation and you let it ride, okay, this is where fortunes are made in the world of trading, okay? Now, what I made on this trade, like I said, is 3x my largest trade, my biggest trade to date. 3 fucking X. Do the math on that, man. It is monstrous. This is life-changing shit. To be honest, it still hasn't even sunk in, okay? And that's what can happen when you pay attention and you put in the work and you don't get ahead of yourself, okay? But people want to get ahead of themselves and they want to execute trades that they have no business being in because they're not going to be able to emotionally handle it. And that's why the warning was made. Do you see how long-winded that was? I don't have time prior to every entry on a trade. Remember, this is live and in real time, live screen share, man. So if I'm telling you, I'm going to execute this trade, but I advise not doing it, there's a whole reason why not to do it. And every time members do it, it's like somebody just takes a fucking knife and just rams it right in here and twists it around because it doesn't have to be that way. Do you know what I mean? So you guys got to give me 1 sec. So now let's get into the trade and the idea. So I'm going to zoom in on SPY's chart here. And yes, it fucking squeezed, but it went into my personal maximum risk, which was also discussed on screen share and into the pre-market plan of attack. I said, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to give it into this area here. But I said, if you're going to take this, you have to stop out and reset. If they would have reset, there would have been a monster trade. Even if they didn't want to listen and they still executed that trade, they could have had a reset and they could have had an absolutely monstrous day. Okay. So now let me get the entries because I did say I would share with the entries. So I just worked the trade in the morning and then just let it go because what I was seeing on the charts, and sometimes I know it can be a little difficult when you have a professional explaining these trades and you look at it and you see it's like, oh, but that went way against you. But what you're not seeing are all the puzzle pieces that were put together with a certain amount of risk that it was more than comfortable with risking on this trade. It was more than comfortable risking a certain amount on this. If it worked, it worked. Now, was I expecting it to go all the way past the fucking 50 today? No, absolutely not. That's not what I was expecting. But for it to come all the way down, it's something that I've been talking about for almost a month now. It is coming. They are waiting for catalyst. This is the day. So if you watch my video that I released on YouTube about a massive speculation play that is coming, you better go rewatch that because this is it. That's the top, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Things are about to get fucking wild. Mark my words. Now, with that said, can it still come back up? Yes, it can come back up. There's an issue of timing. And this is why right now I'm looking for longs on this, but I'm talking a long, like way the fuck down here, like way down here. I'm looking for a long. That's what I'm doing now. That's a whole other video. But with this trade, as it comes up into the level, being a highly protected level, starting in very small, averaging in heavier as I go into certain price points, and then giving it the wide berth that I needed to give it. Because if it wants to squeeze, it wants to squeeze. It's fine. Because it's not just SPY that is protected by this maximum risk. It is also Qs. This trend on Qs, if you take a look, that's the banger there, man. It didn't go any higher than that. Do you see how it pops over and squeezes that little bit right into that trend? Now, SPY wants to continue to squeeze at that time. That's okay. SPY's just getting ahead of itself. That doesn't bother me. Now, if you are trading your P&L and you're trading your emotion, it is going to bother you. This is the difference between a professional trader and a trader that is still trying to get the feet under or the ground under their feet. And this is why the warning was given. I'm going to execute this trade, but I advise not taking it. My exact fucking words. And you still have people jumping in. Why? Because I'm taking it. And it drives me wild. It really does. And it sucks because now they've got to learn a hard lesson. Some of them are taking big losses for no fucking reason. And if they would have managed the trade the way that I said to manage it, execute, if it wants to keep going, you are going to have to stop out and reset up into this level. You would have literally top ticked that trade and hit a monster. A monster, guys. This is a monstrous trade. This here from highs down to lows is almost 3.5%. That's huge for one day, guys. That's the type of stuff that when you really are paying attention and you're willing to give it your all, you're able to get. Now, again, for those that maybe are jumping in later, you're going to see that there's no P&L here. This will be shared behind closed doors with my mentoring members. All screenshots have already been taken. They've been sent off to Adam for verification, for transparency. Okay? There's a reason why I can't share this fucking trade publicly. So on that note, folks, I hope people, especially members, please start listening. If you can start listening and you can start doing things properly, there is some real life-changing shit that awaits you, man. And it's a shame that some of you will not get that opportunity because you're going to fucking blow up and give up before you get that. And I fucking hate that, man. It makes me sick. It makes my stomach turn, man. I hate thinking about that. This is so doable, folks. If you want to learn from a professional that has been doing this for the last 11 years, consistently and wildly successfully, come to tricktrades.com. If you don't, that's fine. Enjoy my free content here on YouTube. But all I ask is that you do subscribe and you do like these videos. Adios.